Welcome food and nutrition scientists to this video on science communication practices. Whether you're a scientist, a public health professional, or a food industry stakeholder, clear communication is key to ensuring that your research has a positive impact. Clear communication is essential in food safety and nutrition research. It helps bridge the gap between complex scientific findings and actionable information that can be used by policymakers, industry professionals, and the public. One of the main challenges we face as scientists is making sure that our findings are understood by those who can use them. More clarity in the science allows the public to trust the science and those who conduct it. When the public trusts the science, they are more likely to follow recommendations, which can significantly impact public health. Clear communication builds that trust. Let's look at some key practices to enhance our communication. The first step is knowing your audience. Different stakeholders require different levels of detail and focus. For instance, policymakers might need concise summaries with clear recommendations, while industry professionals might require detailed technical information. The general public, alternatively, is going to want to know how your research impacts their lives. The next tip is to simplify complex information. Assume your audience doesn't have your specialty, so avoid using jargon that may be confusing for most. If you need to use a technical term, make sure to take the time to explain it in simplified terms. Use analogies, visual aids, and plain language to make sure that your research is accessible. Your science is only as effective as how you communicate it. Regardless of the audience, storytelling is a compelling way to engage your audience. By crafting narratives around your research, scientists can more effectively engage with the audience. Like storybook telling, your science can be told as a data-driven plot with a conflict and resolution to communicate complex information in a memorable way. By using narrative techniques, it can help your audience to better understand and process information. Let's recap some of the key points of effective science communication we've covered so far. First, know your audience. Tailor your communications to meet the needs of different stakeholders, whether they're policymakers, industry professionals, or the general public. Second, simplify complex information. Use analogies, visual aids, and plain language to make your research accessible and understandable. Lastly, engage with storytelling. A narrative technique can make your research relatable and memorable, helping to convey the real-world impact of your work. It's hard to talk about science communication without talking about social media. Social media and the internet have transformed how we communicate research, but it's also posed challenges. Lower barriers to post information means that anyone can claim expertise regardless of credentials. Food safety professionals, registered dietitians, and scientists in this field must compete with health and wellness influencers to communicate important topics of food and nutrition. Misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation can spread rapidly, undermining public trust and safety. Let's take a look at a recent conversation with my friend Anita to help explain the differences between mis, dis, and malinformation. As I shared with Anita, misinformation is false information shared without harmful intent. Let's explore an example of misinformation. In the health and wellness space on social media platforms, you'll often see claims about various cures or preventative measures for cancer, such as drinking lemon or alkaline water. The person sharing the post may believe it to be true due to personal experiences or because they saw it from a seemingly credible source. However, these claims are not supported by scientific evidence. While the person sharing the information may have genuine intentions, it can lead to others falsely believing in an ineffective remedy, potentially delaying or replacing proper medical treatment. Let's go back to my conversation with Anita. Disinformation is false information shared with the intent to mislead, harm, or manipulate. Misinformation is one thing, but deliberate disinformation can cause unnecessary panic and harm. During the COVID-19 pandemic, there were several food safety myths intentionally spread even after public health organizations debunked these claims. The call for the banning of imported foods was an example of disinformation. False claims were targeting imported foods aimed at stoking xenophobia and economic nationalism. Regulatory agencies emphasized that imported foods posed no risk of COVID-19 transmission, yet the disinformation targeted trade and fueled unnecessary fears. Lastly, Anita and I talked about malinformation. This is perhaps the most dangerous of all, as it utilizes true information to mislead, harm, and manipulate. Let's get into an example of malinformation. A viral Facebook video in 2023 warned about the dangers of food like cereal that contain trisodium phosphate, which can also be used as an industrial cleaning agent. The video sparked many headlines calling into question the safety of the foods we eat containing this additive. Trisodium phosphate is a food additive approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to control pH in foods and act as a leavening agent. And it's true that trisodium phosphate at high concentrations can be used as a cleaning agent or paint thinner. However, just because an additive can be used in a cleaner does not imply that it's unsafe in foods at the correct and approved concentration and dose. Presenting this information in a sensationalized way that suggests eating the product could cause harm leads to public panic. It could also potentially cause a significant drop in a company's sales and reputation that produces these foods. Effective research communication is not just about sharing data, it's about making a meaningful connection with your audience. We've learned today effective science communication strategies and the power social media can have on food safety and nutrition science. By combining effective communication strategies with a vigilant approach to social media, we can enhance public understanding and trust in food safety and nutrition research. Together, let's make a positive impact on public health. Thanks for watching.